The AECOsim Building Designer Mechanical Discipline features an air handling unit builder where you can create customized air handling units for your project. This video will take a look at the air handling unit builder tool. In AECOsim Building Designer Connect, in the ribbon interface on the Mechanical tab, the Place Mechanical Systems group, you'll find the AHU Builder tool. So when we choose that tool, we come to the AHU Placement dialog box. There is delivered a Bentley AHU library with some example air handling units. So you can place your air handling units right from this dialog box. If we take a look at a couple of them, I'll choose this AHU number 7 here. And you'll see how you see a preview at the bottom down here. The property panel dialog box will open where we can add data group values for more BIM information onto our air handling unit. And there you can see where it is on the cursor for placement in the model. Now, when we're placing an air handling unit, notice how the ribbon interface goes to this Placement Place tab. And we see we have these placement options here. Right now it's on the center. If you look in the isometric view, you see how it's being placed at the center of that connection. But we can adjust the placement point with the placement options there. And then these options for matching existing components in the model, the part family, orientation, size, and shape. Typically, I would have those off for placing an air handling unit. It will have a family and part of HVAC equipment and HVAC new. You can create stacked air handling units. So if we take a look at another one of these examples, you'll see this one here, the inline AHU2 stack. You can see what that one looks like on the cursor out here. Now in this dialog box, there is another library. I created this one for my project, and I'll use that one to create this custom air handling unit example. Now, I'm going to use this photograph as a go-by to create this air handling unit, and I'll be working from right to left. And if we take a look at this photograph, we see where there's a mixing chamber for the return and fresh air at the end of it. Then there is a filter compartment. I'll be placing a cooling coil. Then the flexible connection, or a silencer, is what I'll place in there. And then the fan compartment. And we see the ductwork and the plumbing and drain connections for this air handling unit. So I'm going to use this one as a go-by to create this custom one. Notice on the top of the AHU placement, there's load library, unload library, and then finally we have edit AHU. So if we choose the edit AHU, this is the air handling unit builder dialog box. You can see we have some tools along the top to create a new library. So I already did that to create this project. When we create new libraries, we have the option of where we want the library stored in our workspace, whether it's at the organization level or at the workset level. That would be how you create a new library. And then you can load libraries or unload libraries, you can see up here. And then we have other tools like copy, paste, create, save, and place air handling unit. I have this project AHU us.xml that's stored in XML files. As I hover over it, you see the path to the location here. So this one was created to go in a work set. So I used that option. And I'll come up here and say create AHU. I'll name this one example AHU01. Then if we look at this dialog box, you'll notice how we have available modules over here on the left. So basically we use these available modules to create our custom air handling unit. And we can drag and drop or double click on them to move them over to this selected modules area. And we have tools over here for adjusting the size of the modules and adding duct connections and plumbing connections and access doors, etc. My first module will be a mixing chamber. over here on the available modules, see I have a mixing module, discharge plenum, mixing chamber. I'll double click on the mixing chamber. That will add it to the selected modules. And now I see up here, it starts showing me the dimensions. Notice we get this preview, a preview for the module itself, and a preview of the whole air handling unit builder up here. You do have this tool right here where we can rotate this preview up here. I'll leave it on ISO for right now. And then this area we can put our dimensions. So in my case, I'm going to go 52 inches by 40 inches by 36 inches for this mixing module. And you'll see how it adjusts sizes in the air handling unit preview up here. Now this will have a duct connection along the top. So this is going to be return connection type. So down here you can see where we can do HVAC connection data, whether that's a round duct or rectangular duct. So I'm going to go return, and the location will be on the top. And then we have the width and depth of the duct connection itself. So in this case, I'm going to go 44 by 30, and then the offsets is for the location. Since I'm locating this on the top, I'll rotate my display view up here. So in this case, the top would be from this edge up here, so measuring down from there, and the side offset would be from this side over here and measuring over. So in this case, I will go 26. This is really, I'm just centering it on the top, so I'm using half of the dimensions that I use for the module dimensions by 18. So half the width and half the length. I'll click on add. In the top view here, you can see where it's added. If we go to the ISO view, that is a connection for the ductwork. So the next module will be the filter. So over here we have filter modules. I'll choose angled filter. You can drag and drop these or double click. Notice that we have these arrows that we could move these things up and down in here. And I'll adjust the size of the filter module. 52, 40 by 40 for the length this time. The next module I'll add is the cooling coil. And I'll choose a hydronic cooling coil. I'll just double click on it there. Adjust the dimensions. And in this case, I'll add some plumbing connections. So notice that I don't have the HVAC connection area now is grayed out, but I do have the plumbing connection data over here. I'll place an inlet first. The location will be on the back in my case. The pipe outside diameter, I'm going to use 6 inches. The stub length, 4 inches. Now we can connect piping to this in our model. And then again, the top offset and the side offset is from the module. So I'm looking at it from the back orientation here. So the top offset will be from this edge and the side offset will be from this edge. In my case, I'm going to go 8 inches for the top and 6 inches, working in feet and inches. Now I can say add, and you'll notice that there is that connection there. Now I said from this side, it actually is measured to the center of the pipe from this side of the module. So I'll put this back on ISO. I'll add a outlet. It'll have the same diameter and stub length, but the offset from the top is going to be further to move it down on the back of it. So 32 inches there, and it's going to be 12 inches over. I'll click add. Again, you can see it out here. And then one more will be the drain. This will be 2-inch diameter, stub length of 4. I'll go 38 top offset and 12 side offset and add. And now you can see the connections there. If I rotate this to the front, then you see how that's modeled in there. So the next section will be the silencer. I'll double click on it. The size for the silencer, 52. And we'll go with 38 for the height. And then the length will be 18. And then finally, the supply air fan. So right here we have fan modules. I'll double click on that. The dimensions for it in my example, 52 by 40 by 40. And then we will have a duct connection, so it'll be a supply connection, rectangular. This is going to be on the right of the module. And looking at that image, that photo we were looking at earlier, it's offset some in there. So the size of the duct will be 32 by 20. And then the top offset will be 28 and the side offset 20. We'll click add. And then you see that connection over here. Again, if we rotate this to the right orientation, you see how that connection looks there. And finally, we'll place an access door for the supply air fan, as I saw in the photograph there. So we'll highlight the supply air fan, and you have connection type and accessories. Notice that it's set to supply none. If we switch this to none, then we can utilize this access door. If I were to switch this to supply, notice how that accessories goes back to none here. So if I switch this to access door, then I'm not doing the connection type. So this will be on the back. And the access door dimensions, 36 by 36. And then the offset, 20, 20. I'll click add. And you can see the access door has been added back here. So again, you have these capability of putting these accessories onto the air handling unit. Now you can add, when you create a stacked unit, this is where you can say add a new level. If I click on a new level there, you can see where I have another level. I could add modules there, and you do have the remove option here to remove modules. Again, if we look at this from the front now, you notice the access door symbols. So what we're seeing here are the symbols for the filter, the mixing chamber, and the cooling coil, and the silencer. Those are symbols that will show up in your drawings when you create drawings. So now that I've got my air handling unit, I'll hit save up here. This will write to the XML file, and you can place the air handling unit from this dialog box. You can take those XML files and just copy them. If I've got another project and I go, hey, I can use that same configuration of air handling unit for this other project, I can just copy that XML file to the same folder location in the other project. I'll choose place air handling unit from here. So that will bring us back to the AHU placement dialog box. Again, we've got our property panel. I'll enter one data group value here for the ID equipment. I'll call it AHU-01. So I've got an equipment ID on it. Change my placement point up here. Make sure my AccuDraw is in a top orientation. By hitting F11 on my keyboard, put the focus on AccuDraw, T for top. Left click to place the unit. When we place these mechanical components, the mechanical heads up view, which is by default set to view 8, will open up. And I don't need to do any more editing there, so I right click to finish the command and place the air handling unit. So a quick look at the air handling unit builder in AECOsim Building Designer Connect Edition.